Yeah, yeah, so it was my birthday, and it was weird because Oscar and Andrew didn't even say happy. Oh, uh, hold on, I gotta go. Hey, everybody. Today, we are embarking on figurative language as part of our narrative writing unit. All month of May, we're going to be focusing on narrative writing, which is basically a fancy way of saying telling a story. Today, we're going to focus on figurative language, which is what good writers use to make their writing interesting and detailed and worth reading. All of you can do this. I'm excited to see what you produce. So let us begin. Figurative language. Well, what is figurative language? Let's find out on the next slide. So the definition of figurative language is a word or phrase that does not have its normal, everyday, literal meaning. Meaning it's fancy language. It's kind of a playful way to talk. Whenever we exaggerate when we're telling a story, that's figurative language of some sort. Today we're going to focus on 3 examples. But first, let's find out why we should do that as writers. Why should we use figurative language? Well, writers typically use figurative language because or by the writer for the sake of comparison or dramatic effect. It makes the text more exciting to read and it makes it stand out from other text, which means the beginning of your paragraph can be really boring and the end of your paragraph can be sort of interesting, but if you have this one line in the middle that uses figurative language, it's going to stand out from the rest of that paragraph. Same with your story. Just makes it more interesting to read. You all do this very naturally because I spent most of the year with you. In your conversations, you use a lot of figurative language. You use things for dramatic effect. Today we learn how to do that in our writing. There are 3 types, as I mentioned earlier, of figurative language that we will be focusing on. The first is called personification. Repeat after me. Personification. Personification. Very good. Next, we have alliteration. Alliteration. Wonderful. And lastly, we have simile. Say it after me. Simile. Simile. It's like I'm there in class with you all. I'm proud. So personification, type number 1. That is when you give an animal or object qualities or abilities that only a human can have. Our example here: the leaves danced majestically as the wind passed through the branches. Leaves can't dance, and leaves can't dance majestically. Therefore, that is personification. It's a human quality. Humans can dance. Animals, leaves, nature cannot dance. But we can explain, we can write like nature actually can dance. If you want to go further into any of these, click the links down here. I'm not going to do that just to keep the video as short as possible today. So personification is number 1. Number 2, we have alliteration. So alliteration is when words that start with the same sound, not just the same letter, but the same sound, are used repeatedly in a phrase or sentence. So the example here is: black bug bit a big black bear. A lot of boo, 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 boo sounds. So black, bug, bit. I'm not going to keep going, but you understand there's a lot of B's and a lot of boo sounds. So that would be alliteration. And lastly, we have simile. This one's my favorite. So simile is used to make a comparison between 2 things that are not alike, but do have something in common, using the words like or as. So the example here is: she as cute as a kitten. Sounds like something someone from the South would say. She's as cute as a kitten. That is a simile, right? So she, a girl, and a cat. Normally not related, but when we talk about how cute this particular girl was and how cute kittens are, then we can make them related using this keyword as. Right? So that's why up here it says like or as. We want to use those in our simile. Again, you can click for more examples. I'm going to move on to what I am asking you to do today. So if we go on to slide number 5, we're going to practice each of these. So personification practice. The directions here say: read each sentence pair, highlight the letter of the sentence that uses personification. So we might need to go back to slide number 4. Let's see, personification. Oh, that's when we give animals or objects human qualities. Okay, so let's see. Number 1, clouds were playing in the sky, or the sky was filled with clouds. Hmm. Well, one of these to me sounds like it's a human quality because humans can play, right? So I would highlight this, and I actually need to highlight it. So that means clicking over here, highlight color. You can do whatever color you want. I'll do this really, really loud green, and I will do that. So you do the same thing for 2, 3, and 4. You pick which one you think is correct, and then you highlight it. All right, moving on to slide number 6. We're going to practice with number 2, alliteration. We have an example over here. The terrible tiger tore the towel, right? So that's the sounds or letters that are all the same over and over and over again in a sentence or a phrase. So the directions here say you need to read each sentence, then you need to highlight any alliteration you find within the sentence. I've done this for example number 1. So sentence number 1 reads, Jada decided to write a report about rats. Oh, this one's interesting because write, that starts with a W, but it does have that R sound. So write a report about rats. So everything that sounds the same there, even though W is different than R, they still produce the same sound. So I highlighted in this very light pink the W and the R in write, the report in rat, the R in report, and the R in rats. I'm going to ask you to do that for the other 5 examples here. And lastly, we have simile practice. Now this one is where you get to get creative. The directions here say use the starting sentences to create your own simile. So the example up here, the angry man's voice, ... boomed like thunder. Like, we have that word like, right? So we want to have like or as. Just a reminder over here, some similes are busy as a bee, sparkle like diamonds, hungry as a bear. So now you get to come up with whatever you want here. That is what I'm asking you to do on slide 7. And then very lastly, because these were all just practice, they're fairly easy. I don't think this will take you even more than 10 minutes. But because it is the month of May, and we are doing our COVID journal Tuesday through Friday, then you have one writing assignment today. So it is your journal topic. Today's COVID-19 journal topic is write a letter to your future self and use at least one type of figurative language. And then I'm asking you to highlight where you use it so that I can see, okay? So write a letter to your future self. Use one. You don't have to use all 3. You can if you want to go above and beyond. There are a lot of you that really are going above and beyond, and we're so proud of that effort. I'm proud of you no matter what, but I do appreciate that so many of you are really, really trying so hard during distance learning. So feel free to try 2 or 3. You're not going to get marked wrong for doing them. If you do them incorrectly, you won't be marked wrong. If you don't do any, that's when you'll start to lose points. And here we go. We have my example. So I keep everything that I write up here. So you have the third person, the letter to someone I miss in first person, and then I just wrote this one for tomorrow. All right, so we have figurative language. I went ahead and did use all 3. I really like similes. Remember how I said those were my favorite? So I have the most similes, which I highlighted in green, you can see. Personification, I did at the very end, you'll see blue. And alliteration, I really like this one too. I just highlighted the sounds and the letters. So I went simile at the beginning of my paragraph, alliteration in the middle, and personification at the end of my paragraph. You only have to do 1. You are welcome to do all 3, and feel free to use my example to help you understand exactly what I'm looking for, because this should be a letter written to yourself in the future. I just turned 30 on Monday, so I'm looking way into the future. I wrote to when I was 50, and I expressed how I better still be healthy. Feel free to use my example. I've been talking for a while. I'm going to stop. Email me if you have any questions. I can't wait to see what you write, and I hope that you have a wonderful Wednesday. That's alliteration. Bye-bye.